Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to episode 102 of my Let's Play of Tyranny. Still not say the name properly. I'm IVATOPIA, and of course, this is the game. What I literally just said. Ha ha ha. Let's get on with it though. Okay, we just spoke to him about his mantle and all that stuff. And now, what did the school before the war? What did you do in the school before the war, even? Provost of Antiquus was the official title. My life's work was the creation of the school's past, the relics, the sermons of occulted jade, the life stories of tidecasters, elders past, that sort of work. A fellow historian, I didn't realise the tidecasters gave a care to the historical records. I wonder how your notes were compared to the chronicles of sages. I'm sure I could fill in countless gaps in your accounting. Titus glares at Larry with contempt. Ah yes, let the historical record note that Larry takes the hint. Coughing nervously, the sage takes several steps back and falls silent. My personal interest has always been the fluid magics of our school. Most of the school embraces the mighty power of gravelight. I almost can't blame them. For me, water, mist, ice, and fog have always been more immediate, more real, more worthy of understanding. Why didn't the Tindercast stay in to fight Karos? If I may be so bold as to answer your question with a question, why do you think it was? Not many folk seem to know the truth, so I'm curious what one of Karos' soldiers believe happened. What? You're asking me to answer my question with your question? Seriously? Don't annoy me. I'm trying to play evil, remember. Rational self-interest. The Tidecasters knew Karos was coming years beforehand and rightly feared death. They knew something we don't. Perhaps the Karos are wrong. Maybe they land to the west. Glares silently. Assume they didn't want to die and felt their chances were better on the open seas, given the school's skill set. And will the Tidecasters stay to fight? I can only assume cowardice was a school of virtue. Cowardness. I'm going to glare silently. Oh, come on. Are you such curious? Imagine someone as wordly as yourself must at least have theories about such. Please force me to say. To fight, I can only assume cowardice. Assume they didn't want to die and felt their chances were better on the open seas, given the school's skill set. I knew something we don't. They knew something we don't. Perhaps the Karos are wrong. Maybe they'll land to the west. So self-interest. The Tidecasters knew Karos was coming years. Well, you aren't that far off from the truth. At least for many of the Tidecasters, the high seas are truly home. For many, the danger of the seas was a lesser worry than war with Karos. Truth is, our can lack the will to resist. Scores of Tidecasters craved war, but lost heart at the notion of facing the enemy without a coated jade leading the charge. Enough. I don't wish to revel in the cowardice of the Tidecasters. I made my decision to stay. I'm not pretending I'm some brave hero, but at least I'm trying to hold on to some little port in the storm. Something else. How do you prefer the water? It's impossible to cover the intricacies, but suffice to say that I must infuse water with gravelight energy. This, combined with traces amounts of alcohol and beastmen blood, contracts the mortifying effect of the old world's water. I see that look in your eye. Worry not, the beastmen willingly give their vital fluids when they can. It's a tiring process, but it produces clean and resident water. Jasper's product is an amateur's imitation and will never sustain this place in the long run. That's why I've taken on Inspired Mocker as my apprentice, to safeguard this process, and unlike most, she knows just when to stay out of my way. In other words, you think you must put one person, he needs to put one person, and you both actually need each other. Maybe I should just remove the pair of you and use what's whole place Caramba. Should I know about Jasper's? His eyes glaze over at the mention of his rival's name. If only that rock pounder would just shut up. He loves the sound of his own voice. He grips the roping of his waist, squeezing it with a clenched fist. Unfortunately, his forge is on the upper level, so his soliloquies flow down here to ensure my misery. This place has better acoustics than the Academy of Tides. Lucky me. He thinks because he can cleanse the water, not as well as I do. Mind you, that he can pontification at all hours of the day. I nearly drowned myself once rather than listen to one of his tirades. You know, but I knew the moment my body was discovered he would be raining another righteous speech about cowardice down upon my corpse. That wouldn't do. Look, I'll say it plain. Jasper has a big mouth and he talks incessantly about transforming the B-word wound into something great. But the truth is that he's just out for himself. He slams his staff into the ground, mouth quivering as he speaks. I built this place from nothing, and he thinks he can come in and claim it when the hard work has already been done, not on my watch. Beast Woman. He cocks an eyebrow. Ah, Reef Talent, curious. Case. That one, she poured her way into these caves a year ago with her cubs. A vicious fighter for certain. Bane of the Bane. I like to say she took charge of the tribe, but had a curious way about her. The most fascinating beast I've ever met. Oddly persistent, peasant, strangely polite and prone to bathing. Speak nonsense, coward. Cold and submissive by the sound of it. This Reef Talon sounds like mellowing Balric, not proper alpha. Things really got unusual when, after a bloody dust-up with the Bane, Reef Talon healed some other members of the tribe with her touch. I can't say healed with a straight face. Those who had their wound tended by Reef Talon felt spectacular for a few days, but by week's end a whole host of new maladies overtook them. Was I a mystic? What sort of problems are mystic? She claims she wasn't, and I've never known a beast to downplay her strengths. But as sure as water's wet, she could mend wounds with a mere touch. So she must have had some training, having seen what her healing did. Hindsight tells me why she would be hesitant to discuss her mystic training. Perhaps trained by fool for a mystic. Why else would Beast Woman hide such strengths? A true mystic wears power proudly, does not viper sliver into obscureness. So the problem happened to those who were healed. It started subtle, really. Folks treated by Reef Talent just slept a little less each night, first claiming they felt too hale and hearty to sit in bed. Later they'd be exhausted from days spent waking, yet unable to sleep. The old typecaster shifts her weight with a sigh, and after days of being sleepless, other things would start to go. Tempers, memories, worst of all, a few who could work. Signals lost their talent. Imagine spending an afternoon listening to Jasper's droning on about the virtues of a pulverizing stone. You'd be frustrated and exhausted, somewhat murderous in the tent, but for some reason you can't sleep. Night turns to day, which turns to night. We took to calling those affected sleepless, and warned others of what became from those cured by Reef Talent. What became of Reef Talent? A few span back, a patrol of disfavored were in the mountains searching the area struck by Caramba magic. So they said, well, they stumbled on our refuge, and being disfavored were shocked and appalled not just by our squinting in the old worlds, but by the beastmen living with us. A few even deferred to the Reef Talent during the parley, and seeing humans look to a beast woman was rather appalling to those iron folks. The meeting quickly turned violent. We bested the disfavored, but Reef Talent fled during the altercation. I guess a combination of guilt from warping her fellows with magic and the feeling of shame that her presence roused disfavored to tackles. I have no proof, but I think Reef Talent fled to save us from her. There's plenty of... That's what I said earlier, one about running from save us. Well, save you. There's plenty of folks who hate her, but I, for one, don't think her actions were ever malicious. Protecting this place is all she cares about, and she probably realised she had to go to save us all. Regardless of her specific motivation, I'm certain she fled deeper into the old world, not topside. Someone claimed she dove into the water, another claimed she accessed a teleporter. Either way, she hasn't been in the village since this favoured arrival. If anyone can survive the depths of the old worlds alone, it's Reef Talent. That said, she's been gone a while now, and I'm not sure I'll wager money on her survival today. Happens as a sleepless. When Reef Talent fled, almost all the sleepless went with her. Whether they chased her out of anger or fear or being deserted, I don't know. You might find a few here in the refugee, but most of them have taken their chances in the depths of the old worlds. Illustratively, a woman whose life is already married by the tragedy of wedlock to Jasper was the last person healed by Reef Talent. She is still coherent. Who knows? How long that'll last, poor woman. So, illicit, so I'm looking for that. Libba's grown more detached from the reason with each day spent walking. I half imagined most went into the old worlds to find death at the Talon or the Bane. If I lost the ability to rest, if my magic was taken from me, I'd probably do the same. Close his eyes and return to... Okay. So anyone says that? No, I don't see him. I'm assuming these mean something, no.
What have we here?
Okay. Oh, the paws of the Bane come from. Oh, instead they quickly rip them apart, they do. What's you doing?
Bane slaying almost to the make me impressed. But what was that they come out of?
Interesting.
Will do.
That's what she has to say. Welcome to our little refuge. Faithbinder, you here to help us keep the room clean of Bane inspired? Monka picks out a splotch of dry blood on her greaves. She wears the patchwork armour of a Scarlet Fury. Are the Bane constantly showing up like that? Welcome to our headache. The way the Bane come and go, you'll think the teleportals were... what? Beaded curtains. Lucky for us, the beasts seem to love killing the Bane. They put in more hours on sentry duty than any human, and I welcome the extra sleep. What's through the portal? That goes deeper into the untamed old worlds. That's a complete portal that their leader went through. Because he said diving water a portal, didn't they? We sent patrols out to sharpen the beast's claws and lighten the numbers of Bane. We haven't exactly mapped it. How'd you get that name? Funny story that, she frowns. There's a piece of advice that should give every new chorus constructor, but don't. Ha, there's belts. Abruptly before clapping a hand over her mouth and swallowing further chuckles. Somebody made the mistake of asking the voices for a nickname, didn't she? She sniggers as she shakes her head. I could have been shivered for days or bleeding souls if I waited long enough. Even hindsight will be more appropriate. Do you do here exactly? Whatever wage staff wants. Guess you can call me an apprentice. I can read, which is more than most can say. It's more subtle than the red work for the chorus, but I don't mind a change of pace. So the blue is to honour war staff. Exactly. Edward iced half my gang with his spells, so now I fight for him. Those are the rules. In a twisted way, I think the voices would approve. Not that his approval is any safer than his wrath. Okay. I expect there to be a bit more to that, but okay. It just disappeared, literally. What the... You chat? Blood on humans, oh blood on you. So I guess... There's this one. No, that's her, she's removed. That's the guy we spelt at the start, isn't it? So I guess we don't have any of them, other than doing a little quest for them. Oh crud, what did that do me? Hopefully it's just a single room like last time when I did this. The one at the bottom. Yeah, it's okay. I guess we'll have a chat with these next episode. A good point to end. So please like, please subscribe, and please tune in next week. As I talk to you. Bye for now, everyone. Have a great day. Please share the video and hit the little bell to subscribe. Bye.